Breaking news! The Bills might finally see a light at the end of the tunnel. This could be the solution for Buffalo to reach glory. Leave your like, subscribe, share, and let's go. After starting the 2025 NFL season with a flawless 4-0 record, the Buffalo Bills have quickly emerged as one of the early favorites to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl. Fans and analysts alike have praised the strong performances of quarterback Josh Allen and the team's passing defense, which currently ranks first in the league. For a franchise that has suffered heartbreak after heartbreak in its quest for a Lombardi trophy, optimism is surging once again in Western New York. However, despite the early success, a closer look reveals that the Bills are still a work in progress. Their biggest flaw is one that has haunted them in recent seasons: stopping the run. Through 4 weeks, the Bills' defense has allowed an alarming average of 164.3 rushing yards per game, a number that places them 31st in the NFL. While their opponents in the first month of the season, the Ravens, Dolphins, Raiders, and Jets, collectively hold a combined record of just 2-14, Buffalo's inability to contain opposing rushing attacks has raised concerns about how this weakness will hold up against stronger playoff-caliber teams. In fact, many analysts argue that the Bills' dominant start may say more about the weakness of their opponents than about Buffalo's ability to overcome its glaring run defense issues. This weekend provides the first true test, as Buffalo faces off against AFC East rival New England. The Patriots are a team in transition, now led by rookie quarterback Drake May, but one thing is almost certain: Bill Belichick's successor and his coaching staff will look to exploit Buffalo's soft front seven by leaning heavily on the run game. The Patriots have historically found success against the Bills when controlling the line of scrimmage, and they will likely try to replicate that formula. For Buffalo, finding answers to this dilemma will be critical if they truly hope to secure their first Super Bowl championship in franchise history. When analyzing possible solutions, the Bills' front office and coaching staff must recognize that there is no single, magic fix. Instead, the path forward will likely require a combination of several different approaches. The most pressing issue is depth along the interior defensive line. A series of unfortunate off-season events and early season injuries has left the unit depleted. The Bills signed defensive end Michael Hocht and defensive tackle Larry Ogunjobi during the offseason, but both players tested positive for PEDs shortly after arriving in Buffalo and were handed suspensions for the first half of the season. While they are eligible to begin practicing again this week, they may not see live game action until at least Week 9. To make matters worse, rookie defensive tackle Dwayne Carter was sidelined before Week 1 with a significant injury, while Pro Bowler Ed Oliver suffered a setback in Week 2. With so many contributors unavailable, the Bills' run defense has been left vulnerable, and their inability to hold up against even average rushing attacks has exposed this lack of depth. Unless the team pursues an outside addition via trade, it will have to wait until these reinforcements return later in the season. Of course, if Buffalo chooses to take a more aggressive approach, there is a potential trade target who stands out above the rest: Dallas Cowboys defensive tackle Mazi Smith. Drafted in the first round of the 2023 NFL Draft, Smith is still on his rookie contract and has shown flashes of being a dominant interior presence. For Buffalo, acquiring a young player like Smith would provide immediate help in stopping the run, while also offering a long-term solution at a position of need. The downside, however, is clear. To make such a move, the Bills would need to part with valuable draft capital, perhaps a second or third round pick. Furthermore, there is no guarantee that Smith would seamlessly adapt to Buffalo's defensive system under coordinator Bobby Babich. And once Hocht, Ogunjobi, Oliver, and Carter return, the coaching staff would face difficult decisions about how to rotate their defensive line snaps effectively. Still, if Buffalo wants to send a message that they are all in on winning a championship this year, pursuing Smith could be a bold and worthwhile gamble. Another potential fix does not involve new personnel but rather a shift in scheme. Coordinator Bobby Babich has already proven to be creative with his pass defense packages, but against the run, he may need to adopt a more aggressive strategy. One option is to design specialized run blitz packages that attack opposing offensive lines on early downs. By doing so, the Bills can put opponents in second or third and long situations, where Buffalo's elite pass defense can shine. However, such aggression comes with risks. Overcommitting to run blitzes opens the door for offenses to use play-action passes to exploit Buffalo's secondary. For Babich, the challenge will be finding the balance between slowing down the run without leaving the back end vulnerable to explosive plays. If executed correctly, this schematic adjustment could transform Buffalo's defense from being one-dimensional to being more versatile and difficult to game plan against. Interestingly, the Bills may also find part of their solution on the other side of the ball. While Buffalo struggles to stop the run, their offense is one of the most explosive units in the NFL. With Josh Allen leading the way, complemented by a deep wide receiver core and a versatile running back group, the Bills have the ability to score quickly and build early leads. By doing so, they can dictate the pace of the game and force opposing teams to abandon their rushing attacks earlier than they would like. Against teams like the Patriots, who rely heavily on the run to protect a young quarterback, this strategy could prove invaluable. If Allen and the offense jump out to a 2-score lead in the first half, the Patriots may be forced to put the ball in Drake May's hands, increasing the chances of turnovers and mistakes. In essence, the best defense against the run may simply be a dominant offense. Finally, one area where Buffalo has consistently thrived in recent years is forcing turnovers, and this trend must continue if they want to mask their run defense struggles. Takeaways have already played a huge role in the team's 4-0 start, from Ed Oliver's forced fumble against Derrick Henry to timely interceptions by the secondary that have ended drives before opponents could fully establish the run. Defensive backs like Rasul Douglas and Christian Benford have shown an opportunistic ability to create big plays in critical moments. Forcing turnovers has a contagious effect, shifting momentum and forcing opponents to second-guess their game plans. If Buffalo can continue to win the turnover battle, it will become far more difficult for teams to rely solely on their ground attack. In summary, the Buffalo Bills are in a fascinating position. At 4-0, they are riding high and earning national praise, yet their most glaring weakness, run defense, could derail their Super Bowl aspirations if left unaddressed. The path forward is likely to involve a combination of waiting for reinforcements to return from injury and suspension, exploring bold trade opportunities, refining defensive schemes, relying on their high-powered offense to control game flow, and continuing to generate turnovers at a high rate. Each of these solutions carries its own risks and challenges, but together, they provide Buffalo with a roadmap to remain among the NFL's elite. For a franchise still chasing its first Super Bowl title after decades of near misses, the stakes could not be higher. Bills fans know all too well the pain of falling short, and this team's early dominance has reignited the belief that 2025 could finally be the year. But unless the defense tightens up against the run, the dream season could unravel when it matters most, January football against the league's toughest opponents. The next few weeks, starting with their matchup against the Patriots, will reveal whether Buffalo can find the right answers in time to make their Super Bowl dream a reality. Comment on what changes you expect in the Buffalo Bills defense. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.